So I really am excited about the momentum and support that I've seen behind Bernie Sanders lately. I am definitely relieved to see that people are, in fact, choosing the light, because we are all in this together, especially when it comes to the law of attraction. So it renews my faith in humanity when I see people choosing the light. That makes me feel like everything's going to be okay, and it reinforces my faith and trust in humanity as a whole, because the issues aren't really political anymore. They are moral, and the every man for himself mentality is incorrect. And we are all one big collective consciousness, so it's really one for all and all for one. That's really what is aligned with truth and what is. So we have a bit of a problem, though. You are watching Star Wars, and Bernie Sanders is Luke Skywalker, and Donald Trump is Darth Vader. And basically what I'm seeing is that Luke Skywalker may have the Force with him, but he forgot his lightsaber. And let me explain to you. I have made many videos on this subject previously. If you look at my YouTube channel, you can see the numerous videos I've made about this subject. And in past videos, I've gone into detail about how the divine asked Bernie Sanders to separate out from the Democratic Party. And these are some of the reasons why. Number one, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both controlled by the interests of wealthy donors. They're not controlled by the interest of the people. They're controlled by the interest of wealthy donors, and the divine doesn't like that because it's not operating in the interest of the people. So the divine doesn't appreciate that aspect. Number two, the divine wants to make it very clear that Bernie doesn't need the Democratic Party. He doesn't need them for money. He doesn't need them for media attention. He doesn't need them for support. He doesn't need them to win. He can garner his own support and money. And for anyone out there that says, oh, great, Bernie can go, lead a third party and then go ahead and split the vote against Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump would for sure win. No, that doesn't happen. That's an incorrect psychic prediction. That doesn't happen. Third parties in the past have always failed. That's the kiss of death. That's like a death sentence. Leaving the Democratic Party to go lead a People's Party, that's just a death sentence. That will definitely fail, because there always has in the past. Yeah, this one won't. This one won't. This one won't. So, yeah. Don't need them. I'm sure Bernie thinks he needs the Democratic Party, but he doesn't need them at all. As a matter of fact, President Sanders, I have a question for you. Now that you've seen the support and enthusiasm growing behind you, do you still feel like you need the Democratic Party? Or do you have a little more personal proof that you don't? Just wanted to throw that out there. You might be predestined, but the divine is very respectful of human free will, and he really needs you to follow his guidance. Number three, personal power. Bernie Sanders' soul is being challenged here. And one of the ways he's being challenged is he's being asked to step up to the plate that the divine is putting in front of him and demonstrate personal power in the process. We're all here to learn, grow, and evolve as souls, and demonstrating personal power is one of them. He would be demonstrating faith in God, belief in himself, and most importantly, not being placed in a position below the Democratic Party, below the DNC. That's one of the things that really bothers the divine here, is the DNC is in a position of power above Bernie. The divine doesn't appreciate that at all. It's basically like Bernie just giving all of his power away, which the divine doesn't want him to do. Another thing is that the DNC screwed him over in the 2016 election. So the divine sees the Democratic Party as Bernie's abusive girlfriend. And the divine specifically asked Bernie Sanders to break up with his abusive girlfriend as an act of self-love, putting himself first. Again, Bernie's soul is being challenged to demonstrate personal power, trust and faith in the divine, trust and faith in himself, and self-love. These are all fantastic virtues here that strengthen your divine connection, by the way. Leaps of faith. Leaps of faith also strengthen your divine connection. That's a nice, plump, and juicy way to do it as well. So obviously leading the People's Party would be a big leap of faith there. Another thing is Bernie, part of running as a member of the Democratic Party in this election, the DNC asked people to declare that they were officially a Democrat. And Bernie is not a Democrat. He's actually an independent senator from Vermont. He's a democratic socialist. And so by saying he's a Democrat, he's not aligned with truth, and God is the truth, so he's not aligned with God. So let me show you this Democratic Party that we have going on here, right? Here's the Democratic Party. Okay? We've got we've got people on the left, we've got people in the center, and we've got people on the right. Now, why do we have this rainbow of fruit flavors in the Democratic Party? Because nobody has these. Cojones. Cojones. You've got all these desperate people clawing all over each other. What do we have, like 25 people originally running for president in the Democratic Party? It's like narrowed down, but whatever. So you've got all these people just clamoring to be, to be president and competing against one another. And you've got this rainbow of fruit flavor for what everyone stands for. What's your truth? What's your truth? What's your truth? And they're all part of the same organization. And so because this organization is so convoluted, now you have to call it the Democrats on the left, the more centrist Democrats, and then the more right. Because you've got so many people just desperate to be part of this party because, they just need this party so bad. They need this party so bad to win. It's a two-party system, and a third party will fail. It just will. It always has. Well, this one doesn't. The People's Party doesn't fail. Nick Brana, the People's Party, Bernie Sanders doesn't fail. So what's required to get out of this party? Balls. Need some cojones. Leap of faith. Leap of faith takes courage, bravery, confidence. Balls. Balls. So, to put it in other terms, because what you are personally witnessing is a battle of light versus dark, and you guys need to know this, you really are watching Star Wars, okay? You really are watching the battle of light versus dark here. So, the light is taking off, and so Bernie Sanders becomes a bigger target for the dark because the dark wants to take him down, right? And I'm going to put it in these terms. Bernie Sanders is a house. I'm going to represent Bernie Sanders as a house. And here's a window, and here's a window, and here's a window, and here's a window. Okay? Little chimney, right? Okay? This is Bernie Sanders' house. Let's give him some shrubs, too. Why not? Give him some greenery. Foliage is always good, right? Disneyland does a really good job with foliage. Just kind of ties it into the landscape a little more. Let's give him, maybe little bushes over here. Okay. Bernie Sanders is a house, right? Bernie Sanders knows that there's, this twister coming, right? There's, a storm coming. So he has to repair his house. So what Bernie Sanders did is he boarded up this window, and he boarded up the door, and he boarded up this window, and he boarded up this window, because he has to be protected from this twister that's coming, right? But unfortunately, because Bernie Sanders isn't aligned with truth, and he didn't go lead the People's Party, he stayed a member of the Democratic Party, he made himself vulnerable to this twister that's coming. And the way he made himself vulnerable is he didn't board up this window. That window is open to the twister. Now, what if I told you the twister represented the dark, evil force? And what if I told you that this twister that's coming towards Bernie Sanders has a brain? And this twister is strategic and all-knowing with a brain. And so this twister is approaching Bernie Sanders, and he's like, woo! Look at that window. They didn't board up a window. We're going straight for that vulnerability right here. We're going straight for this vulnerability. So we're going to take our little twister tail, and we're going to aim straight for that window that's not boarded up. And this vulnerability right here is the fact that he stayed a member of the Democratic Party instead of branching out. He compromised his personal power, he didn't demonstrate self-love, and he never took the leap of faith. Not yet, at least. The Democratic Party is his vulnerability, and that's exactly what the dark is going to use to get to Bernie. That's his vulnerability, that's their way in. Now, Bernie Sanders is vulnerable because of his own free will. He needs to join Nick Brana and the People's Party, and he will beat Donald Trump by a landslide. Why? Because light is more powerful than dark, and I know that's probably difficult for you guys to believe right now, and I wouldn't blame you at all. Right now, it looks like dark is more powerful than light, because the dark is basically taking over our country. So everyone's probably looking around like, where's the light? Where's God? Why is all this happening? Who's letting this happen? What the hell? Don't get mad at God for his respect over human free will. He's very, very respectful of human free will. So don't get mad at him for that. Don't blame him for that, please. But I'm telling you, when the light shows up in full force and Bernie Sanders does what he's supposed to do, that's when you'll see that light is more powerful than dark. Light is a lot more powerful than dark. When you're aligned with truth and you're holding the hand of the divine, you're a powerhouse. And Donald Trump's power is an illusion. He has none. And the universe is going to show you that, but I need Bernie Sanders to board up that window. I need you to board up this window, President Sanders. I need you to put a nice board over this window. Go over to the People's Party. Lead it. Nice, true, clean light for the people to follow. Nice, clean light for people to get behind. And that's Nick Brana. Nick Brana has movement for the People's Party. I'll include a link to his Twitter in the description box below this video so you guys can check it out. So, the coronavirus is negatively affecting the economy. That the economy was actually Donald Trump's selling point for obviously re-election. His name is stamped all over the economy. And his name is officially stamped over the economy for a reason. He wants to brag about it. So, not really a good selling point for him right now, and that's the law of attraction. When evil uses the economy as a selling point for re-election, they're attracting negative energy to that selling point, and that's what you're seeing happening. Another thing is you are being shown universal health care. Doesn't look so dumb right now. Obviously, with the coronavirus, we're all in this together, so me, myself, and I doesn't really apply here. It's definitely one for all and all for one, and again, socialism is truth. I'm sorry Donald Trump decided to show you otherwise, that the every man for himself mentality is the way to go, because he's wrong, and the separatist attitude is the dark and socialism is the light. So make no mistake about it, Donald Trump is going directly up against God because he's aligned with falsities and going directly against truth. So who do you think is more powerful? Light or dark? Who do you think is more powerful? Truth or falsities? Who do you think is more powerful? God or Donald Trump? You're about to see. You're about to witness it. God works through people, and Bernie Sanders is 1,000 times more powerful than Donald Trump. And that is what you are going to personally witness. Because Bernie Sanders plus the People's Party equals winning by a landslide. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.